let's see. Change up the pick. All right, I think I've got that all set. Let us see here. I am live, Winky. How you doing, Coach? What's up? What's up, Coach JJ Superstar? How are you doing, Winky? How's it going? I was thinking about you today. Yeehaw! Hey, Nature Man. How you doing, Scott Clark? Jen, Nocturnal Denizen, Amy's Life, nice to see you. Yes, Winky, I was thinking about you today. Hello, Deborah R, nice to see you. I was thinking about you today, Winky, just wondering how you're getting on after all of your medical stuff there. I mean, you're always smiling. Hello, Red Solo Cup, nice to see you. My World in OKC, Survivor, nice to see you tonight. So, yeah, hello, Lavender Flower, Miss Aluminum Foil Potato. Forever known as my comedy backup team here on the channel. Hello, Vicky. I'm glad that you're doing better, Winky. From what I gather, you've really been through the mill on things. Oh, thank you, Felix. Thank you, Felix LeBoy. Not always too amazing, but I keep on trucking. I keep on trucking through. Keep on trucking through. You look much better now. Earlier, you look so tired. I only needed a shower to perk me up there. When I eat dinner, I kind of get a little bit of sleepy, and after I take a shower, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Juice, what's going on? Red Pill, how are you? I'm feeling okay after I get a nice hot shower. Yahoo, yes. Cowgirl tonight. Yeah. Another day of working on the van. We'll get to that in a little bit. Another big football Sunday. Even though I don't watch football, I can tell you that I do follow it closely, and I do watch the highlights. I don't need to see every play of a football game. Hello, Jay Holly. Although I did not get the final in the 49ers Arizona Cardinals game. I did not get that final. But I did see the highlights of the Ravens absolutely mangling the Texans in Baltimore today. Oh, they won. Okay, Sean, how you doing? Nice to see you, Sean the Brit. The Niners won today, 29-26. Yeah, it's the Cardinals are pretty tough. They always bring the game with them. So I try to stay up on what's going on. So yeah, got Nature Man in the chat. I hope you're doing well. So I do try to follow a little bit of football along just to keep up. Love the hats. Sorry, Todd, can you recommend a preamp? I really never use preamps, Felix LeBoy, but I think that if I was going to get one, I think I'd probably get a vintage Marantz. Hello, Missy. How are you? I like vintage products because I like to put. Let's talk about this. Hey, Katie. Let's talk this. Yeah, 313 last. Yeah, I see you, Juice. Let's talk about this a minute. If you're going to, thank you, Lucifer. If you are going to buy some audio equipment, one of the things that I've always contended in a lot of videos, and I've done hundreds of vintage audio, if you're going to put money into a system, why don't you put something into a system that's going to hold its value and potentially appreciate in value? And when you got some vintage gear, a good name like a Marantz or a Dynaco, some of the legendary Fishers and things like that, if you buy a stereo AM FM receiver like that, you're going to have something that appreciates. I don't like, hey Biker Aussie, I don't like things that depreciate in value. So it's one of the reasons, it's one of the other benefits of vintage audio gear, particularly tube audio gear. So yeah, good information. Thank you, Scott Clark. And I will be, as soon as possible, turning attention to, thank you, Red Solo Cup, turning my attention back to audio, vintage audio stuff soon enough. So, Um, yeah, so if you're going to get something, look at something in the vintage line. Buy something that's working. Thank you. Like your fireplace setup and like everything about you. Is a very beautiful woman. I accept you as a woman because that's what you are. Is that all stereotypical? Because that's not me. Very good. How you doing, Valerie? Yeah, I'm feeling good. I was a little had to post dinner. We had dinner early tonight on the Rancho. Hey, random trucker, how you doing? Thank you. Hit that thumbs up button. Thank you very much. Love your videos. Keep the amazing work. Thank you very much. I think I have a very well-rounded body of videos on YouTube. Metal detecting, tear into some of those playlists. Trips, metal detecting, restaurant reviews, hundreds and hundreds of restaurant reviews, both on the road and at home, out on the gun range, moonshining, construction, reconstruction projects here on the Rancho. And as you guys know, I'm heavily engaged in the middle of one right now, and I really feel like I've broached the 50% point in turns. Really feel like I've broached the 50% point in terms of accomplishment so far. Lavender said, I love to watch my dad play his records in his vintage radio cabinet. He's 85 and has a massive record collection. He still cleans his records with alcohol. You can't change an old soul. You know, that's coming back. Insane says, I'm into the old Fender amps for my music, the silver face stuff. Yeah, there you go, Insane Chef. See, the Fender's always going to maintain its value. Always going to maintain its value. I don't like to put money into things that go down in value. I like to buy things that appreciate. You go into a music store today, you look at a lot of the equipment, it's all black plastic boxes with just very light. There's not a lot of guts to them, and they're junk. You might as well take it. You might as well drive them from the Best Buy showroom to the junkyard and just throw them on the pile. Is my opinion. They might sound good, but they're not going to be that much better than the vintage stuff. And the vintage stuff will give you something beautiful. There's nothing like looking at a tube stereo console and seeing the glow of those tubes lit up on an amplifier. Yeah, that's right, Hot Frog. It's just junk, you know. It's just junk. It's just all the same, and it has no beauty. The silver faces and things of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and up to the mid 80s all had a certain beauty to them as well. You've seen I can't really turn the camera, but you know, I have the Wall of Sound, which has some of my best units on it. So my best advice is buy vintage, vintage, vintage. But one more clue, one more thing that's very important. If you're going to buy vintage stuff, a Marantz, which always holds its value. Marantz, the beautiful blue face receivers, the dials across the front. The Harman Kardon, the beautiful greens. Always make sure you buy one that has an absolutely pristine faceplate on it, okay? Pristine. Don't buy something that's dinged and scratched and lettering's worn off. That's a no-go. That's like a baseball card that has a curled edge on it, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. There you go, Insane Chef. Make sure it's gonna hold its value. So that is my best advice. What's up, Fundy? That's my best advice on that, is to buy the faceplate, buy the faceplate, buy the faceplate. Make sure they are clean. Pay a little money for that, because when the pros go to buy that stuff, the first thing they're going to shop is looks. What condition is the faceplate in? What if the price is right? It can't be right when it comes to a faceplate, okay? Unless it's a really rare. I do have some very rare ones that have very minor. A Sansui 1000A, which has transistors and tubes in it. And I got to tell you, you want to buy a clean faceplate, but that's a pretty rare, pretty expensive product. Okay, happy birthday, Nicole. What's up, Bergs? How you doing? It means I have a few things to discuss, and then it's just an open chat on here. I don't have any particular topic to talk about, so we can wheel it around, vintage audio, things like that. Hello, Molly. Vintage gear recapped, have another 30 years of use, exactly. I rarely recap any of my stuff. Sansui was excellent, excellent stuff. I sent one to Jeff T. Rowe. He proceeded to burn it in his backyard. Those were the days on Boyd. You guys missed a lot back in those days. Any new travels? No, nothing coming up on the immediate horizon. Yeah, Berg, show your love in here tonight. Show your love. What's up, Mike's Life? How you doing? So that's my best advice on that, is if you're going to buy an amp, a preamp, make sure it's a good quality name and make sure that it is in beautiful condition. Some of these have walnut cases on them that cost $300 and $400, just a case alone. And if they're original, they're worth a fortune. Scott says, my Sansui 7000 is awesome with the new custom B&W audiophile sound. Doing good, Rody, looking lovely. Oh, thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate that. Just decided to cowgirl it up a little bit on a Sunday night. You're welcome, Felix. Pay a little more. How you doing, spirits? Pay a little more, get a little more, and have something that's absolutely going to hold its value. Don't be cheated by people that are selling bent plates on the front and all that, okay? That's like a coin that somebody cleaned. If you're a coin collector, nicks, scratches, transfer, these things are all, most of these things are just screen stenciled on there. Difficult. Fundy says, I have an old Pioneer system, took the living room. Beats any of the surround sound trash to say. I wouldn't even have that crap in my house. This stuff. Hey Denise, what's your favorite kind of beer? I just like simple American beers. The Michelob Ultra Light, to me, is an amazing taste in. It's an amazing taste in beer for very low calories, and it goes down very smooth. Love your clothes. You wear it well. What some people would say, I wore out my Daisy Dukes here, you know, but that is what it is. That's what makes them Daisy Dukes, right? So, okay, so that's our little audio hint for tonight. So let's see. Got an erection all day from that blue pill. There you go. There you go. So, Random Trucker, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad to see you around the chats. I've missed you for a while in here. So once again, for those of you who weren't on the morning, thank you so very much for being on yesterday evening's live stream. We had a lot of laughs. We did some cooking. We had a nice meal. We had a nice background set up and all that. What are your thoughts about Elna capacitors? Are they in the league with Nichicon? I use Elna wherever possible. If I'm going to replace a electrolytic capacitor, Elna is a great name in electrolytics. That's my feeling, that's what I would like to see in when I'm doing my rebuild. Thank you, Denise. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So, any more questions about vintage audio? I never got into record players. People want to send me record players to be fixed. Hello, Brooke. And I just don't get involved in restoring record players. There's this squeal of doom and repair. Yeah, go with the Elnas. They're worth the extra money. Looks really sexy. As I'm going to say, you have to look sexy on Yeehaw. Yeah, well, I enjoy that. So it was nice setting last night for the live stream with the fire and the cooking. Yeah, I like to set things up so it has the weather's beautiful here, so it has a nice background. Miguel says, I have to go to sleep because my mom's going to the hospital on exercise and Planet Fitness. Okay, Miguel, you take it easy, my friend, okay? My World in OKC says, I have all my dad's old records. You know, a lot of vinyl's making a comeback again. Oh yeah, we'll see, Fundy. We'll let you be my traffic director here so that I can get an edge in. Scottish, how you doing, sweetie pie? How you doing, sweetie pie? Yeah, you did a nice setup last night. Yeah, it's worth taking the time. I had a couple extra lights set up in the shop, and I just put them on the ground, and just to give a little backlight for what we're doing there. I think after 7 years and 12,000 videos on YouTube, you think I would learn a little something about setting the scene out there. The hottest dial, my Crosley rep went out, and I thought of you. There you go, Roxy. That should be easy to replace that that light on that Last night was lots of fun. So it was a good time. It turned into a long stream, but it was fun. Hello, bad hemorrhoid sufferer. Nice to see you. The van's going to be bomb-proof. Well, I'll tell you what, the interior is going to be bomb-proof. I can tell you that, having passed the 50% point on the build, I can comfortably say that the toughest work is now in the rearview mirror. All the busted knuckles and all the pain, all the blood, all the stuff that I have done up to this point has definitely been worth it. So. And I'll get to that in a couple minutes, but any questions you have, Vintage Audio, I always get people asking me, do you still repair equipment? I want to send in something. I'm too backed up with equipment here on the Rancho. I haven't been able to get to anything. My World in OKC, I've done enough of the bed frame now that I would like to turn my attention to the electrical. The Pioneer SX1250, the right channel plays with sometimes. Do you know what might be causing it? Yes, I do. I don't know place it services it, but go to your hardware store and get electrical contact cleaner. Don't use WD-40. And take off the cover of the SX1250 and put it down in the potentiometer. Squirt some in the inside. There'll be a little opening. That's the things that you adjust the volume, the balance. Squirt it inside. Rock it back and forth about 50 times on each of your knobs. And then that should remove your static. What you're having is a poor contact, okay, on that. So I don't know. I want them to order the box. So because I don't want to be held up. I want to move on to the electrical. I want to change over to a new box. Upgrading from four feeds to 12 feeds. New Jersey Police Department, I'm going to put you in a timeout because you're just spamming the chat with nonsense here. Okay, and I just tell my moderators, anybody that's spamming the chat like that, just stick them in a timeout there. Microwave some food. Now it's time for Elvis to free. I don't know what he's cooking out there. We just had dinner. Oh, I'm not too smart, OKC. I just fiddle around. You're welcome, Felix. And you can always write me at icanmakeitlikenow@gmail.com. Okay? Yeah, I don't mind people typing, but every other line, it just gets to be a little much in the chat. So, yeah, Vintage Audio has always been a passion of mine, and everything on my shelves just appreciates in value year after year. Invest in stuff that'll go up. Don't put your money into depreciating assets. That goes for fancy cars and all kinds of things. You're just throwing your money away. You can't get enough dinner. 2 dinners per hour. There we go. Yeah, they were good. The pork chops turned out good. Like I said, they actually turned out excellent. The taste of them was good. It was on point. Maybe I was just hungry. Why not lay linoleum under the dinette and having to lay around them? Because I'm gonna do some waterproofing and some other things. I need to do some specialized things in those compartments. And relaying vinyl or linoleum or an engineered floor products very cheap now, and it's very easy to just cut that closely and have that on there. And if it has to be replaced, it's no big deal. Did you have leftover chops for dinner? I did not. Missy Jen made a nice tri-tip, what we call the Rancho. Lisa, how you doing, beautiful? I will give you ching tomorrow. Awesome to see you in the chat, Lisa. The beautiful Lisa. So, well, he came in and out. I think he heated something up in the microwave. I'm not sure. So, Yeah, Juice. He pretty much has reign of the kitchen. That's about it. I'm debating on whether to make vegetable beef soup or shepherd's pie. Well, hey, HX, how you doing, sweetie? What do you guys think? Let's see. Vote 66 for beef soup or 77 for shepherd's pie. 66 for beef soup or 77 for shepherd's pie. Thank you, Lisa. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I like a good tri-tip. What's up, Fours? How you doing? Shepherd pie. I'm just trying to make it easier. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Shepherd pie. There's another one for shepherd pie. Shepherd pie 77. 77. So it looks like shepherd pie is the go-to for that. You know what was the other benefit last night? I was really happy that my cook stove performed very well. You know, most of Marshall's gear is breaking down now. You know, the cook stoves, they're not designed for everyday, day in and day out use. So I had to swing my cook stove into action last night, and I was really pleased with the way that performed. That performed beautifully last night. The double burner on there. It's very easy to just attach a couple propanes to the tank on the side. Yeah, wasn't that stove nice, HX? I've done some cooking. If you look at some of my previous boondocking and type in one pan wonders, you'll see me doing some cooking on the road, and I'm going to try to do more of that on the future. Sometimes it's a pain in the butt. You get to, I like to go down to Point Reyes Station, the next county south, and by the time you get down there and you're walking around, just grab a sandwich at the local store. Is Elvis going to be dropping the pounds off? Well, that depends. You have to want to do that. You know, you can't eat things like Oreos and other things, and you know, you just have to eat balanced meals and be done with it. I don't really snack between meals. That's not my thing. Patty Wakefield sent a lot of wonderful snacks in pretzels, and I really love her for that. I do love pretzels, but that's a rarity around here. That's a real rarity on the Rancho here. I don't know, you know, mostly women follow my channel now. A lot of them have come over from the drama community, which is wonderful. And I still have quite a few guys on my channel too. But I know the ladies like to talk about cooking and baking and some things like that. Good morning, Sandy. And I don't know if any of, good night, Nature Man. I don't know if any of you, hey, Mark Handler, do copy recipes. Doing copy recipes is so much fun. Okay, so you said we had baked fish, rice, and salad tonight. Awesome. Copy recipes. Do you ladies or gentlemen ever do copy recipes? Now, what I mean by that is let's take something that you grew up on, okay? That you enjoyed. I had a favorite soup. In the wintertime, I would come home, like Olive Garden copies. Yeah, exactly. How you doing? I don't know. We don't talk about drama on my channel. It's pretty drama-free, Brandon. And good evening to you, by the way. My favorite soup in wintertime growing up was bean with bacon. Campbell's bean with bacon soup. And I really liked the taste of it. You could really taste the flavor. Yeah, the lobster cheddar biscuits. Yeah, there you go. And I enjoyed, you can see I've done a recipe, Copycat Campbell's bean with bacon soup. It turned out pretty doggone good. I also did the Kentucky Fried Chicken copy recipe, and that turned out pretty good too. So copy recipes are a lot of fun. I really struggled when I was growing up. We had a local cookie. It was called Dad's Old Fashioned Cookie, and I think they still have them. I think St. Louis, Missouri is the last place that they have them. And man, it was a crispy cookie, and I like crispy cookies. I don't like soft and chewy, and it tasted so good. And I looked up the recipe. It uses grape nuts in making it. It's amazing. Yeah, Colonel Sanders didn't start KFC until his 60s. Yeah, it's quite a story. But that's something I've always tried to find a recipe, but they closed up their Baltimore branch. But those Dad's old-fashioned cookies were unbelievably good tasting, those cookies. I don't think I'd try to do things like Oreos. I think I've made Twinkies before. I think that's been fun. I know I've made English muffins. I've made soft pretzels. And I believe this Friday I will once again be making the big deli soft pretzels, the big jobs. Okay, so I think that will be that'll be fun to do that. May just make Scotch broth soup in winter. Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff that I enjoy doing. Boiled raisin, or nope. You know what I'm gonna make? I've made it before on the channel for years. Cinnamon raisin bread. Okay, cinnamon raisin bread, except I'm going to do it artistic style. I'll have to start the day before to get the dough flavored. Always start your dough the day before. Okay, so I'm going to do cinnamon raisin bread. I got a taste for that. Yeah, it's been a while since I made those pretzels. Pecan Sandy's recipe, Fab made them for Christmas. I want to tell you, Lavender, I'm going to tell you something, honey. Take those, here's what I want you to do. Have you ever made, yeah, pumpkin rolls. Have you ever made cheesecakes before? You're going to say, of course. I take my graham crackers, I crush them up with a little bit of melted butter, and I put a little sugar in. I crush them up in my food processor. I pour it in, I form my crust around the cheesecake outside, and I pour my cream cheese batter inside. Yes, you know, if you like pecan sandies, this is Rosie's original recipe. Take some pecan sandies cookies, run those through the food processor, okay? And instead of using graham crackers for your crust, use pecan sandies because they have a little bit of salt and they're a sweet flavor and they make an absolutely incredible. My #1 dessert that people raved about was the pecan sandy crusted cheesecake, okay? Try it out, okay? How you doing, Oda May? It's an unbelievably decadent recipe and it tastes absolutely incredible. The New York style cheesecake, just sweet, not overpowering, but nice deep texture. And then you get that salty and sweet pecan crust and it is amazing. Try it out, Lavender. How you doing, Patricia? Make sure you watch tomorrow morning's Chooch. Patricia, nice to see you in the chat. Decadence, yes. My friend Greg Doran's mother back in grade might make crunchy toffee chocolate pie, and it was the best dessert. I must have been, Scott, if you can remember it. Gosh. My only memories that stick with me are my introductions to the female persuasion in high school, so... Which is a whole nother, how you doing, Debbie Lynn? Which is a whole nother topic of conversation on there. Michelle Galindo, where are you? Uber Goober, please make some zucchini and pumpkin bread with nuts and I will flash you my titters. All right. I want that in writing, Uber Goober. I want that in writing, okay? Don't tease me. Don't be teasing me. I'll add it to my collection of titty shots that the gals sent me. I have quite a collection. Thank you very much, Miss Kitty. I will also be doing traditional cooking too, clothed in the kitchen and all that. It's in writing. There you go. You got the screenshot. No teaser here. I don't know, Uber Goober. These days, honey, we got to get it in writing. If it's not in writing, it never happened. I'll make that, and I guess I'll do that again. Just remind me, Uber Goober, as we get closer to a holiday season, I'll make that in your honor on the channel. Okay, that sounds like a lot of fun. I've made a lot of honor recipes for people on YouTube, and it's always a lot of fun to do that. Okay, baking specifically for people's requests. But the bad side is, what do you think the downside is? That they never tasted it. Okay, never tasted it. The coconut cake I made on Friday, guess what? It's gone. And I only had 2 pieces, and Missy Jen only had 2 pieces. So you figure out where the other half of that cake went. You figure out where the other half of that cake floated off and disappeared. So yeah, nothing pumpkin flavor has been overdone. Pie is okay though. I'm a real traditionalist. And I will make a pumpkin pie. I don't necessarily feel bound to make it at Thanksgiving, but I will make a pumpkin pie, okay? Because I think a pumpkin pie is a good eat. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Has pizza in the oven. I blame this food talk. So we're burning a lot of calories on the build here for sure. So I love everything pumpkin, just about anything. Oda Mae, do you ladies like the pumpkin scented candles? You like that? And is Debbie Lynn still in here? Is Debbie Lynn still in the chat? And I'm really honored to see Lisa in here tonight. Is Debbie Lynn in the chat? I'm just wondering if Debbie Lynn is still here. Debbie Lynn, my South Carolina girl, step forward over here and be recognized. Step forward and be recognized. I don't know if she left the chat or not. I hope she's still here. Debbie Lynn, you remember that candle you sent me, honey? This thing, I don't even want to burn it. She sent me, man, it had to be 2 years ago. She sent me a Sonoma lavender candle. Do you remember that, Debbie? Do you remember sending that to me? Well, I'm going to tell you something, Debbie Lynn. Once in a while, I get a headache. And you know, I sit over here in the easy chair and I have my cup of coffee. Yes, imagine Rosie in an easy chair. I think Marshall has a grease spot. Yeah, I don't know if that's it or not up there. You know, he sat in that a few times. I'm a little nervous. But Debbie Lynn, when I have a headache, which is not too often, you know what I do? I don't even burn this. I just open the top of that, and the smell of that just seems to take my headache away. And this was beautiful, Debbie Lynn. And of course, if you guys haven't seen it, I have visited, met with Debbie Lynn multiple times. The first time in Florida, we had a blast in 2015, and then in 2018, we took a trip to all around the country, and we hung out with Debbie Lynn, and I had a great time. She put us up overnight. So yeah, I'm not sure. What do you think? I don't know. I don't ever remember that being on a chair. Okay, I don't ever remember that. I'm just saying. Okay, I could be wrong. I'll have to go back and review. It'll be like the NFL. I have to review the tape and check it out. Lavender oil is just amazing. I'll tell you, this is incredible. And Debbie Lynn, I'm never going to burn this candle. You know why? Because I always keep the cover on top, and then I just open it. Oh, man, and I get to sit right next to that, and it is amazing. See, Debbie Lynn? See? Debbie Lynn, we went to the Chinese buffet, remember? Hung out with Debbie Lynn and the old lady down there. A very, very good time. I'm not sure. That's mildly disturbing to me right now. Okay, that right there. So, how you doing, Carlos? I don't know. You know, I'll let you guys vote on the side chat. 77 says Marshall did it. 88 says I did it over time. Vote now, okay? Let's see. That's why they use doilies, right? Ah, there it is, 77, 77. I'm sure I'm going to be flooded with the 77s on there. Woo, keep a towel on it. Yeah, 70. Oh, to me, one vote per troll. Yeah, here it is. Vote your poll again. There we go. That's it. Yeah, vote early, vote often. There it is on the side. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Cindy, how you doing, sweetie? Nice to see you. Cindy talks. Mark also on the seat. No, the seat. Uh, no, I don't know what that is. I don't even want to. I don't even want to think about. The angle makes me think it's not what you guys are thinking it is. Okay, all right. Yeah, troll election on here today. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So look that butt down on the chair next to you. You need to make him buy you new. Yeah, Oda May, could you please check the old videos for me? Yeah, there you go, Lisa. I'm going to give you a good laugh, honey. You and I, Lisa, we both need a good laugh, honey. We sure do. Remember the white chair backs on the sofas years ago? They called them doilies. Grandma was smart, huh? Take them to car wash. Oh, don't forget the under chassis. There you go. You know, Grandma was pretty smart with doilies and things, with doilies and all that stuff on the furniture. You know, do you guys remember the when they used to sell plastic covering for sofas? Right, you could put your right, Greg. Do you guys remember you had plastic? They used to sell. You could put your cushions and everything in plastic. Your seat covers on your couch, which sounds like a great idea. Yeah, you grew up with that, right? You guys can't even imagine that these days plastic wrap on furniture, and Granny kept it on. So did my grandmother. And summertime in Baltimore, right? No air conditioning. 11 people in a row house, right? Sweaty as can be. And every time somebody got up from that couch, they were walking around. It looked like they were walking around with a couch on them, man. That clear plastic. Hey, kids, get off that furniture. You're trying to ruin it. I do. I need to be down in Sarasota. Yeah, plastic. Can you imagine that? Do they even sell that stuff anymore? What would you do if you went into somebody's house and ding dong? Oh, Marge and Jim are here. How you doing? Come into the kitchen. Come into the living room. You got your fancy hors d'oeuvres and have a seat on the plastic furniture to cover. I can't even believe it. Yeah, Uber said I don't let people sit on my furniture if they're dirty. I know, man. Well, it's okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Destination unknown. Hey kids, get off that furniture. You're trying to ruin it? Yeah, that was the commercial. Yeah, and I just can't believe the stuff that we used to, the stuff did to plastic. I know, Craig. I'm an old bat, man. Oh, okay. Cindy says everybody loves Raymond. His parents had it. But we'd get up and walk around. This cushion would be sticking to your back, you know, and your legs. It was so unsanitary, right? Oh, Lavender said, try coming to my house. I have white carpet. My kids know the rules. Yeah, that's good. No steaming baked potatoes in your house, Lavender. Jen said, my grandmother would always say, make sure your high knee is on that plastic. You're going to find a comfy spot on the floor. There it is. I mean, that's one of those products that you can't even imagine people having today. You go into you know, Donald Trump's not going to have that at the White House, right? I'm a little disturbed, I'll tell you. You know, I don't recall. Oda May is going to review these. She's going to be like the NFL referees. You make the call. I I don't. Yeah, the fart sound from plastic when you moved. Yeah, that was ugly too. Yeah. So yeah, it's like, what did you just? No, I didn't. I was just moving on the cushions. That kind of product. Yeah, that stuff was crazy. I'd like to go back and look at some of the old local commercials from the. So yeah, it's VO5. Hey Rosie, are you tall? I don't know. I'm 5 feet 6 inches tall. I'm not sure. Better get some shout for that thing. Red bottle of Dirt Devil stain remover. Thank you, Moy Loco. I'll pick that up. I don't think it was me because I wear a wig and it doesn't get greasy, you know. God, don't tell Missy Jen about the spot. She will go friggin' ballistic in here, okay? She will go ballistic. All right, fling snot. Yeah, remember Breck? Did they even make Breck anymore? Breck, yeah, I remember Breck. Isopropyl alcohol on a rag. Yeah, Missy Jen she runs a really tight ship. Better have someone else. Hell, that's rigged your mods aren't fair. Look, Rosie, look, see, it was already here. Yeah, there we go. Oda Mae's like she's disqualifying herself from that, like a Supreme Court judge. Best vintage commercial was Coca-Cola. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Yes, that was a great commercial. D. Lynn, we had French provincial all-weight room of plastic, and us kids were terrified. We wouldn't go into that room or line up and get it switching. You know, D. Lynn, we weren't even allowed to go into the such as it was a living room, and we weren't even allowed to sit on those couches and things. Oh, you were a Prel little girl. Okay, remember Prel? They would drop the pearl, the pearl in the bottle. That was Prel. Tell him I'm looking. Guarantee he'll argue. We all know he did it. No replay needed. Smell. Oh, I'm not gonna. I don't. Oh, I don't want to smell anything. I don't want to smell anything, guys. Give me a break, okay? They don't pay me enough on YouTube for that, so. Yeah, the Coca-Cola commercials were good. They were well done. They had good production values. They put everybody into a good spirit. And I got to hand it to Coca-Cola. They were always classy with their commercials. I can't even remember seeing a Coca-Cola commercial on TV. I don't know. Of course, I don't watch TV. What's the shampoo where women would orgasm while washing their hair? Yeah, what was that? What was that called? What was that shampoo? Yes. 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 Yeah, Herbal Essence. Thank you. Jen's going to go try to find some old stock. Jen's like, I need that Herbal Essence, baby. I need that Herbal Essence house tray, maybe even crate tray. And there we go. Herbal Essence. That's it. Yeah, they were some funny. Yeah, I know. There was. Yeah, Jen's gonna go try to find old stock of Herbal Essence. Do they even make the? Oh, you try. I don't know if that's like the normal position on that recliner. I don't know whether the light's just fooling me or that's greasy. I haven't seen the Joker yet, Robert Wilbur. I want to take Missy Jen's birthday's coming up December 7th, a day that will live in infamy. Her birthday's coming up, so I'm pushing her to tell me what she wants. She wants a palette of makeup or platinum palette or something like that. So I gotta make her a good birthday. Tell two friends and so on, and she will tell two friends. Yeah, that commercial. Now the Super Bowl commercials are the ones that people evaluate. And how would you like to be selling cars this time of year? Come on down to your Ford dealer. We got a holiday special. Come on down to your local Ford dealer. It's holiday time. I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to make sure she has a. I'm going to make sure she has a good. Yeah, thank you, T. It's a spot you can see. I'll have to look back at the prior video and figure out how it occurred. Boxy Lux for December. You know, Oda don't you think I risk overwhelming her with makeup and stuff like that? You know, not that I don't like my girls beautiful with makeup palettes and all that, but how much makeup can you do? I just don't know. Oda gave up on me after four months of BoxyCharm openings. I'm like, I got no idea. How weird saying chits for days. That's it. How you doing, Lisa? Nice to see you. A lot love makeup. Okay, you would give it to me good. Thank you, James Schmidt. I like it good, but I ain't no pincushion. She said something about she wanted the makeup bag, Jeffree Star. I think it's on the video she's talking about the makeup bag. She said something she didn't get some kind of... Okay, yeah, I will figure that out. I'll go look it up and figure out... I'll figure out what's going on. But she's been real patient around here. I will take her to a nice dinner. She's been really patient here on the rancho. You know, we're trying to keep things as nice as possible. James Schmidt says, "Can I see your tits?" I mean, well, any lower, man. The lavender's like pincushion. Tomorrow, just stay tuned because I'll be over on beautiful Siesta Keys. I might make it over to Bayfront Park. I'd love to be down there. Coach, what's the temperature down there now? What's the daytime temperature? Hey, Cher. I'm curious, Coach. You're down in Florida. Hey, Vicky. How you doing, babe? Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, sweetie. I'm wondering what the daytime temperature, like in Sarasota, is right now. How nice it is down there. Wait and see. She was secretly wanting to bust him. No. It's going to be in the mid 70s. Man, that's nice. We've been in the 80s here, so. You know, you got to figure it this way. Hey, Jessica, Missy Jen's known Marshall in person for a lot of years, so she's not. This ain't her first rodeo around town. Kirsten, how you doing, sweetie? This ain't her first rodeo. But she's been real good. I make Marshall clean up at the end of the day and push the big broom around. Better in the 30s, yeah. I don't want her to step on a drywall screw or something out there and get that in her. Oh man. Yeah, but he's fine. Vicky, he sticks to the Shine Shack. As soon as we finish the putting the platform in the bed, he'll be out in the van. There's just nothing to sleep on right now, and I want to do the framing first. I don't want to be cutting sheet plank plywood right now. Thank you, Jewel. Thank you. So he pretty much does his own thing out there. I mean, the Shine Shack's pretty. Shine Shack is pretty indestructible. Does it bother you when he says stupid crap like he did a background? No, it doesn't bother me, Brooke. I can't wait to come down to Sarasota, Coach. I might buy a bike so I can go bike riding with you. That would be a lot of fun. Alibis. Yeah, there we go. So has he been a good guest? Yes, he has. I mean, don't be fooled by the bins sitting around the Shine Shack. They're just personal belongings from the van. We defrosted the fridge today. The bathrooms kept clean, so I'm pretty happy. New Jersey Police Department. Have a good night, my friend. Thank you. Just take the spammer out of here. Thank you very much. I don't mind you being in here, but if you're just going to spam one after another, if he stays in the Shine Shack, you might decide not. Wouldn't it be funny if you had to evict him from the Shine Shack? I'll make sure the video is rolling, Brandon. Hi, Rosie. Did you know there's this... I don't know. I'm going to have to look and see if that was there last month. You know, I'm just going to have to go over to, I'm going to have to go review. No, the utility bill hasn't come yet. It's going to be a heavy load. It's going to be a heavy load. You know, the electric water heater's been running full time out there. Uh, but that's about it. I have to get the bed frame done. It will sleep so much better than the old dad. Yeah, the this new bed frame, it's about 30% larger than the old one. It's built like a tank. You know, it's going to make a significant difference in usability. And it wasn't expensive. It just took a lot of labor to design that around. Now we're working on the dinette is just about done being framed in. So, yeah. Can you guys see that really well, or is it just me? Is it just, you know, is this really like a circle of doom, like a yeah, I'll collect. You know, he certainly spent the money. He's bought things. He bought dinner last night. He bought me dinner at the Mexican place. So he's done. Scotty, how you doing? Thank you, Scotty. He says I really enjoyed watching the Lisa Marie build. Thank you very much. So yeah, it is now. I've never had that spot before. You know, I've never had that. Spot. It's ass juice. Oh, come on. Come on, man. What's the obsession with Heine's and then I like to just look at them. I don't need to go in on a exploration mission. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to get that. I think I'm gonna have to try to get that cleaned up tonight. That man. Yeah, Kelly Gruber said he messaged you, but you said didn't receive it. A busy guy, but told me he doesn't want to meet you, so we'll keep him until you go on tour. Okay, thank you, Scott. There's a lot of people that want to meet. There's people that want to come by the rancho. It's just too much going on right now. Woo, Wicked Bella, how you doing, beautiful? Nice to see you. Yeah, no more gravy talk. Well, I think we'll try to clean that up tonight. So she'll definitely, she won't like to see that at all on there because, you know, we got the nice, nice rugs and everything. This is not the best quality furniture. You can go back and see my 2013 video on the same day that I went to buy this furniture at the nice Vietnamese furniture store. You can see the video applying to be a Hooters girl at 54. That's a funny one too. When I went in and applied to be a Hooters girl. It's a lot of good content, you guys. You know, check it out. It's the same shaping. Oh, funny. I don't know. I'm laughing on the outside, but I'm crying on the inside there. I just don't remember that at all. It can't be me, right? I mean, wigs don't do that. So, woo, there it is. Nice to see Wicked Bella in the chat tonight. Those Hooter girls were counting tips. Yeah, it was funny. They were at the candidates. I walked in and I said, is this where I applied to be a Hooters girl? And she's like, hold on a minute. Yeah, she handed me that clipboard and and I was walking out the door and they're like, do you want a drink? Do you want these girls were gorgeous. They're like, honey, we hope you get the job. When, where, and how did you meet Marshall? Let's see. Back in 2014, yeah, you can put your hand in my flower, Vicky. Back in 2000, Drury Nadab used to have the Friday night RV hangouts. And I was on the, I wanted to get an RV. I was really seriously considering getting an RV. And I noticed this chat that came up on Friday night, and there weren't any there weren't any RV chats at that time. You know, the live streams were still relatively new, the public ones anyway. We'd been doing the private ones for 2 years prior, and they just disappeared when they were done. So there were no green rooms to get people in trouble. I mean, it all disappeared. But in April of 2015, I pushed the button to join. I sent Drury email. I asked him if I could join the Hangout. He was always looking for new people. Juice probably remembers. And I came on panel, and I had my black tube top on, and I had my gold thing on, and I looked okay, you know, and you could have heard a pin drop. I was all good, you know, until I opened my mouth, you know, and then it's like, what the what's that? But you know what? They were kind, and they were nice. And one of the people that came on, came on panel was Marshall. Okay, and I didn't know him, Elvis, at that time. His channel was called Nomadic Assyrian Elvis Van Dweller. And the only video I'd seen of him was when I stumbled across it. He was down in Arkansas. And he was like, guys, let me tell you, brother, at 7 o'clock at the local Walmart, they take those rotisserie chickens that are usually $4.99, and they sell 2 for $4.99. So he goes into the store and he brings out 2 chickens. And he proceeded to just tear it apart with his hand and eat one of them on camera. And I thought to myself, this is really an interesting guy. You know? Part savage, part entertainer. And then he was on Drury's panel. Because he was looking at me like, what are you? You know? Like, what are you? You know? And then we went into an after chat, and he was asking me to, yeah, that's right, Wicked Bella. He was.
That swine elbow is eating.
Don't tell me. Is that who was that? Who did that? Somebody tell me. I didn't see it come up on my screen here. Who was that hit that? I don't know, but anyway, you know, we proceed to go on an after chat. I didn't really know him that much at that time. He's like, yeah, well, who are you? He was there with oh, it didn't pop up. Okay, Jen, I'll get it straightened out. Oh, that was Vinny. No, was that? Yeah, that was Vinny. That's him. So we're in an after chat, and I guess he kind of liked my look, and he's like, you got any pictures you can send? You got any pictures you can send me? And I was like, oh my God, this guy's like, the face that says, Rosie, you seem to be overly obsessed with, yeah, it was a PayPal. Thank you, Vinny. You seem to be overly obsessed with sexuality. What aphrodisiac are you on? Well, it's always, let's just say I've enjoyed my body, okay, over the years. Now, we got to talking, and I'm not sending you pictures. I'm sending you pictures of me, and we had a pretty good talk. And then I started looking at some videos, and there was one where he was standing in the kitchen of the trailer in Arkansas, and he had his shirt off, and he's like, "Woo! Let me tell you, you pencil neck geeks, you oh so turkey neck pencil neck geeks." And I don't know who he was going off on that. It ran, and it was the funniest thing. It was like the funniest thing I ever.
Elbow likes camels, not camels.
Oh man, here we go. Vinny, behave yourself. You're going to be costly tonight. Anyway, You know, he had his chest off, and he had any good chest, and you know, he was like, "Woo!" You know, the 40-inch chest, the 20-inch neck, you know, and he's under this light in the in the kitchen, and it was a real hoot, and you know, about that time, a couple months later, he got in trouble on Drury's chat or something. He went off and he was insulting somebody. So this guy named Wanderlust Estate decided to have an intervention with Marshall, and we called it the Walmart birdseed intervention. And the video was Marshall sitting on a 5-gallon bucket of birdseed in the aisle at Walmart. And
When the juice comes into my chat, he's blocked for good.
really, the juice? Oh no, juice! Oh no! Oh no! How you doing, Jay? You can't hear it. Can't you hear it on the side? I don't know. Vinny G is a hoot. Oh no, yeah, juice. Oh no. And it was funny, and Marshall's like, yes, I'll be a better person. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna be a good citizen of the community. Oh, it was very low. Well, let me turn it up a little bit, okay? All right, there we go. Not that I want Vinny to keep sending my money back to me. We just, yeah, I don't have it, I don't think I have it keyed. I'll have to double check it, but you can hear it. I'll make sure I turn it up higher here. So summer went into winter, and I thought in November, I was thinking in October, maybe I could have a crack at trying to help out. Maybe if I go out and help Marshall work on his van, he'll kind of turn a corner and, you know, be cool and not so obnoxious. And you can see that video series. It's called Elvis's Redemption Road on my playlist. And it's a great series if you haven't seen it. Okay, good night, Jen. And it was flying out there and working on the van in bitter temperature. I met Mr. X for the first time, which was interesting because Mr. X doesn't like to use seatbelts. So he picked me up in his nice Mercedes-Benz, and the whole ride, 20 miles from the airport to the hotel, all you heard was ding, ding, ding. 20 miles through traffic and everything with the seatbelt warning. Mr. X is like, is that annoying you? I said, yeah, and finally he pulled the seatbelt thing out about halfway out for the rest of the way. But man, I thought to myself, what did I get into? What did I get into here? And I came back, yeah, it was funny, you know, and I thought, who is this? This Mr. X, you know. You imagine 20 miles of ding, ding, ding. Hey, man, I'm trying to make video content, and all I hear is your seatbelt warning thing going off the whole time. And of course that turned out to be an epic fail. That you know, Marshall was good for 2 weeks, and then it was game on, same old jive again. So that's when I decided, after I said, I'm not out to reform anybody anymore. That's not my brief anymore. That's not my portfolio to do that stuff anymore, because it's, you know, I thought paying it forward would be good. Debbie, hi there, Rosie. Enjoyed your stream last night, getting leftovers. Nice stain on the chair. I'll tell you the funny thing about that trip, and I've told this before on the channel, was I guess Marshall had an idea, maybe we, you know, And I checked into the Hampton Inn in Skokie there. And he's like, thought we might fool around. And I opened the window. Now, by this time of the evening, by this time at night,
500 bucks still stands to collar elbow and make him bark like a dog on all fours.
oh my God, Benny, I can't take your money. Hey, Rico. And and I opened the shades, and I said, "Yeah, scoot over." I said to Marshall. We looked out the window. Now, by this time, there was a brutal. I mean, brutal. It was like this time of year in Chicago. It was brutal. This cold front came through it, and it was so windy, and the wind chill was like zero or something like that. And I felt bad, but I told Marshall, there's your sleeping place out in the van. And the next morning when I woke up and I looked out the window, it was blowing. It was almost like a hurricane, and all you could see was the van going back and forth in the wind. And I'll tell you, I felt so sorry for anybody. I felt so sorry. No, Mr. X has a really nice. What do you mean? What do you mean scoot over? What am I scooting over for? Huh? What am I scooting over? Hey, Crotchet Cabin, what happened to your chair? Yeah, evidently something greased it up on there. So that's how we met, and then 3 years in Las Vegas, which is always providing a lot of epic content, with the Elvis shirts and getting the royal boot and banned from the Bellagio and all kinds of stuff. Elvis the Chippendale rips his shirt off in front of the Chippendales on Fremont Street. Yeah, I'm better than these guys. Oh, you need to see the chair. There we go. It's like a crop circle. Well, let me go ask him.
200 bucks to tie him up and paddle his backside 10 times.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. All right. I am back. Okay. Which song? There we go. Anyway, I said, man, you got a grease spot on my on my thing out there. So Gonna pop a beer after a hard day's work. Oh, okay. Thank you. I know it's Vinny. Oh my God, he's
Just you wait, Juice.
I got a war here. All right, who wants to hear the Clippers here, baby? Let's see. Let me see here. Let me open a new window. This gets you guys always real fired up. Let's see. All right, here we go. Let me cue it up. I don't want it too loud because Missy Jan. Let's see. Let me get this thing queued up. Let's get this thing going here. Let's take off the volume. All right, let's get ready to rock, guys. When you Baltimore Clippers,
When you Clippers from Baltimore,
fight you Baltimore Clippers.
now fight for a Baltimore score.
The defensemen, forwards, and goalies will win without a doubt. For Baltimore,
And Maryland, every Clipper fan will shout, fight, fight, fight. When you
Baltimore Clippers.
when you
Clippers from get ready to take it up a half step.
you
Get ready.
Clippers and score, score, score.
Man, it's like the best fight song in sports. For Baltimore, every Clipper fan will fight, fight, Get ready, another half step, Vicky. This is for you. Last half step. When you Baltimore Clippers, when you Clippers from Baltimore,
Fight
Baltimore Clippers, and score, score, score. Man. You know that, wow, I can't believe it. 21,000 views. I've probably done a couple hundred to contribute to that over the last couple months or so. Anyway, yeah, this was the Baltimore Clippers. It was an AHL. It was like the farm team for the NHL. So we used to play the Hershey Bears, the Rochester Red Wings. Oh man.
C'est la vie, Juice.
C'est la vie, Juice. There we go. I don't know what Juice did to. What is my favorite fetish? You know, I'm really not a fetish kind of person. I guess lingerie, I guess that would be it. Lingerie, I guess that would be my fetish. Yeah, wrong Clippers. That's basketball. This is ice hockey. So love it when new people happen by during that song and are like, WTF, that's it, random trucker. Well, it's a good, you know, sometimes I do my morning chooch and people are like a little like Mondays and they're just trying to get into the flow of things and it kind of gets things, gets people's blood going. And those were the days. You guys weren't even born yet. Late 1960s in Baltimore and rocking the Civic Center with AHL hockey. A lot of fun. Anyway, that's the story of how I met Marshall. So that was that was it. Let me just get this thing adjusted here. Just All right, my fetish is to touch myself during the Clipper song. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Do you take it up a half step when you do that? You're just waiting for the squeaky door to happen. Anyway, yeah, that was what, yeah, whoa, Juice is like, whoa, yeah, that's how it happened. That's the history on that. And unfortunately, Drury took down a lot of those. That
The chair elbow sits on. Is that extra wide?
it's comfortable. One of Goodwill's finest over the years. A nice score. Check text. Let's see. Check text. Let me see. Am I in trouble? Let's see. I got fan mail. Oda May sending me a nudie. Let me see here. Let's see. Let's see. Oh man. Well, I don't know, Oda May. What do you think? You make the call. You make the call. You know, might have been there for a while. I don't know. I'm not sure, Amy. I am not sure. Thank you, Oda May. I'm let Oda May make the call. Oh, the bar fight. I used to have a store. Baltimore had the Inner Harbor, which was a renewal project. They had pavilions with stores down in downtown, right on the harbor, right on the waterfront there. It was beautiful, beautiful. They did a great job. It led to the revitalization of the downtown area. Anyway, I had a store there for about a year. And I decided, you know, I had summer employees that worked in there. And I decided, wouldn't it not be nice to have an employee night that we could go out before these kids went back to college? And I mean, I was like a kid myself. I mean, I was only like 26 years old or so. And
Oda May shouldn't make videos only to delete them.
did you hear that, Oda May? Anyway, I decided to be nice to have a night out to treat the employees to. They decided they wanted to go to this nightclub called Gerard's in Baltimore. It was on, I don't know, Cathedral Street or Charles Street. I don't know. I don't remember what it was on. So we all ended up going there. We're drinking. And this was the 1980s, and Coke was real big, okay? And I don't mean the stuff I'd like to buy the world of Coke. I mean the white powder, right? And some people got really hopped up on that powder. And we went into the club in about 2 hours, or at about midnight or so. We got there about 10 o'clock, and about midnight, I saw this bouncer who looked like he was really aggravated and really worked up. And he was taking a swing at one of my employees, some guy. So I'm like, I jumped in the middle of it to say, whoa, you know, whoa, man, what are you doing? Okay, so without so much as understanding what I'm trying to do to calm things down, this guy was so hopped up on Coke. He told the other bouncer, he screamed at the other bouncer, come on over and grab a hold of this guy is trying, you know, this guy might punch me or something like that. The one guy comes up and holds me, pins me from behind on my arms. And the guy that was hopped up on Coke, he took my right leg and he turned it around almost 180 degrees so that my foot was almost facing backwards. And I mean, after he did that, and these guys were like 6 feet 2 inches. I mean, these were big guys, 250 pounds, right? And I just dropped to the floor, man. I was like screwed. Yeah, there you go, Vinny G. And I had to have surgery and had to wear a leg immobilizer, and it was so painful. I ended up taking the guys to court, and one of them actually served jail time served a 30-day sentence, and ended up going into a rehab program, and ended up actually coming and apologizing to me for the event, and I got a decent cash settlement out of it, but it was a horrible experience. So nowadays, you know, and I'm standing on my feet on a fishing boat for 10 hours. It is so crazy. Let's see. Oda May said, Vinny, you shouldn't stream and delete so fast. There we go. That was really, really painful.
I took my mods to a strip bar in real life.
Why couldn't I live in Melbourne and go to the Crown Casino with Vinny, you know? It was really a painful thing, Scott. It screwed up my work. I couldn't go to work for like 2 weeks. I mean, I was on crutches. I could hardly drive a car, man. It was so bad. Yeah, he apologized. He went through a rehab program, and he looked me up, you know, and he contacted me. He had my information through the court, and he contacted me. And he said, you know, I got to get this off my chest. You know, I was really hopped up on stuff that night, and I was just seeing things, and I just saw red, and I just went crazy. You know, and yeah, Gerard's nightclub in Baltimore. It was a really, it was horrible, man, because my leg was basically just kind of dangling. You know, the cartilage was torn. I had to have all these surgeries to put it all back together again. Craig says, used to pick up freight out of Baltimore when I was 18 wheel, and there we go. It's a tough town. It's no joke, you know. You know, St. Louis is #1 and Baltimore's #2 for murder capital of America. It's a tough town. Yeah, it might have saved that guy's life, you know. He got squared away. He went to jail for 30 days, and it might have been longer than 30 days. It might have been 90 days. It was really a serious, I mean, they shut down the club. I mean, they stopped. That's how bad it was. That it just, you know, and that was disco time, you know, and that was bad. Nowadays, of course, nobody can afford coke anymore, so they're all on meth and all that crack and blow, and of course, angel dust was big in the late '90s, early, and it's been the whole wave. That's why I always thought I think I did pass out from the pain, Katie. It was, you know, I was drunk. I was pretty loaded. I mean, I wasn't drunk that I was obnoxious. Because you guys know I'm a happy drunk when I get drunk. So, but I was so intoxicated. My brother used to teach at a high school in Baltimore. The stories he can tell. Do you know what high school that was, Jero? Do you remember what high school that was? Melbourne Crown Casino was just as bad. There we go. Yeah. I'd love to.
Rosie, my funeral is in 6 hours and 42 minutes after a death threat. Will you read a eulogy, please?
Well, I read a eulogy. Could you imagine what I could say about Vinny G? Good morning. As I stand up here today, charged with the task of delivering 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes at the most, to encompass the life of a man who touched so many lives over so many years, reached across continents into people's homes, touched their lives as an early pioneer of social media on the internet. How can I possibly do justice? Well, my friends, That's the unenviable task I have today. Yes, the great Vinny G has passed on. I'll be good, Vinny. I'd give you a hell of a send up, man. I'd give you a first class. Nice and slow, measured, pause, put it in there. Yay, how you doing, Shay? Nice. I'd give Vinny a first class send up for sure. First class send up, huh? What'd you think of that, guys? Good start on that, right? Many of you may have found Vinny G's antics, well, snicker. Rest in peace, Vinny. You guys ever see 4 Weddings and a Funeral? That was a good one, huh? But one of the best Coke movies I ever saw was Below Zero with Robert Downey Jr. That was a good movie. I don't know if any of you ever saw that, Below Zero. That was about the truest. I always knew people that were addicted growing up. Everywhere I ever went, there were people addicted to shit, okay? Because whether it was Hong Kong with bankers making $200,000 a year in 1990, I mean, I would always see people, he touched himself and touched others, regularly.
Casket ceremony. Can you just stub out a cigar on my forehead just to be sure?
Vinny, Pikesville High School. Well, it was okay. You know, it wasn't like if you told me Edmondson High School or City College or one of the Walbrook High, then you'd really hit home. I'd like to, Vinny, at your funeral, I'd play Blanket on the Ground. I'll take the blanket from the bedroom. Vinny just doesn't play that anymore. Bobby Joe Spears, Blanket on the Ground. You guys remember that? Does Marshall color his hair? No. Excuse me, I have to take one of my allergy pills. The leaf mold is so bad right now around here. Yeah, so I actually went to the best high school in the public school system in Baltimore. Yeah, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Yeah, Lesson Zero is a great soundtrack. It was a good movie. I mean, I knew people that ended up like that. I just knew, how come I'm not addicted to anything, Rosie? Some people just have a very addictive, they'll take one hit of a drug or something and it's like crack, you know, they're just, that's it, man. It's just like they have to have, I don't have an addiction.
Casket on the ground.
Casket on the ground. I'll never forget the day Vinny's like, Mama Bear, I'm going to offer you $800 if you'll put a blanket on the ground. Lay on the ground, looking at the camera. Now, it has to be beautiful and singing Blanket on the Ground for me. And I want you to put a big L or something. I don't know whether it was a V for Vinny or something like that on his head. Coke takes more than it gives. It is great for sex. Yeah, I kind of believe that. Addicted to life. There we go. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had. Like a really an addiction per se on that. Yeah, Scott Clark says, Rosie, can you sometime chooch over to where they film the birds before you go on tour? Scott Clark, have you ever seen when Missy, Jen, and I went out to Bodega Bay, which was where they filmed, which was where the birds was set? And I've also been to the schoolhouse where the kids ran down and the birds were pecking them multiple times. And I've also flown a drone over the schoolhouse and set that to music. So you might want to check them out. Some of my drone videos on Rosie Murphy and Rosie O'Kelly. Okay, I've done a lot of times at the birds, where the birds were filmed. Yeah, I enjoy Vinny G's showmanship and his yeah. Tippi Hedren was a hot tamale. Rod what was it? Rod Taylor was a pretty good looking guy too. Have you tried any substances? No. No. No, I don't think I've ever tried any. I never was interested in grass or anything like that. Did you hear the door of doom? You guys are almost like Pavlov's dog when you hear that squeak on that. Yeah, check them out. I got drone flying. I flew the drone over the Beverly Hillbillies mansion in Los Angeles. I think that's got over 50,000 views on that right now. What's up, Marshall? Did you put that grease spot back there?
What grease spot?
On that easy chair.
No, these things look like they're from Goodwill or something.
Goodwill?
Yeah.
Man, these things were bought new.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't see any grease stain on it.
You don't see a grease stain?
No, I don't.
All right, well, he doesn't see a grease stain on there.
I don't see one on there, no.
Okay. What are you doing, plugging in?
Yeah, I just want to.
Don't you have a place to plug in out there?
No, I'm trying to upload some videos on your Wi-Fi, so.
Well,
You don't have one back there, do you?
I mean, is there a cord underneath of the table there?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't see anything. I'm just gonna put it back here where.
Oh, man. I took the blanket from the bedroom. Do 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 do. With the blanket on the ground, I need to crochet a doily. Well, we'll see if we can get that cleaned off. Actually, Oda May sent me a screenshot from a while ago, so it looks like maybe it's been there for a while. So you'll say your lights are too bright. I know. He doesn't like the low vision I have. Man, if I had to team drive you with the truck, I'd be terrified. I couldn't sleep when you're driving. Can you imagine that if Marshall and I were team truckers over the road? Good Lord. Wouldn't that be a hoot? Yeah. Pretty soon we'll have a Christmas tree in that corner. Ching, 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 doo, 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 doo. Teach them about couponing. Deer in the headlights. Anyway, that kind of covers that tonight. Now I want to get to the main topic tonight, which was we've passed the 50%. Are you a good snow skier? Actually, I am a good snow skier. Till my leg got busted up. So set the plumb bob on the chair. He will be. Have a great night, Craig. Hey, Mindy May. You know, we've reached the 50% point of the van rebuild. Do you think Marshall's going to eventually move to one of your biggest cities in California, such as LA or Sanford? Probably down in the, probably down to San Diego and around that area, I would imagine. It's always a real tree here, Scott. Always a real tree. Always a real tree. I like the smell of a real tree. Sometimes I don't like the price of it, but I put out for it. So I've reached the 50% point in the van build now and the build out. Good night, Molly. And I was just thinking today about some of the lessons that I've learned on if you're going to undertake this kind of project. And you really got to know what you're getting into when you do this kind of thing. Number one, you're really, this is not your average RV. And I don't mean that in the sense that it's a Lisa Marie. I mean that in the sense that there's somebody actually living full time in this van, you know, and that's quite a responsibility to take on when you decide to step up to on that kind of project. It really, you really, how would I put it? You have a higher degree of responsibility of the way that things go when you take on that type of project. Because like I say, if, you know, somebody like Marshall is full-timing in a van like that, then, you know, you have to make sure that you're really up to the task of doing that kind of work, you know, because, and the thing I've learned is know your limits, know the things that you can do, know the things that you can't do. Do you enjoy being more woman-like than when you were more of a man? Yeah, I would say so, Faces. I like having the outward packaging and the inward of being a guy. I kind of like that. Wouldn't you say there's a higher degree of responsibility when somebody's full-timing in a van? When you start tinkering with their home, basically, it's you know, it's different than somebody says, "Hey, I'll pick it up next year and just rebuild it or restore it for me." You know, it's a higher degree of response. It's a higher degree of responsibility on that. That's the first thing I learned: is be careful when you take on a project. The second thing is to make sure you have the budget to do that kind of thing, because we've not reached the point yet that the money is a big issue. But it could come soon with things like cushions. When you start to put needle to material and thread, then you start to get onto some really some hand labor and things. So, did you have a pick in your English wool banker suit? I probably do around here somewhere. How you doing, Charles? Coach says, I see a lot of people here in Florida living out of minivans and cars and cargo vans and conversion. I think could be because Class Bs cost more. Hey, Cupcake, Class Bs are expensive. Okay? They're expensive. Thank you, Faces. They're expensive because they pack a lot of systems into a very small area. So they require a lot of engineering and a lot of fabrication of the vans, in my opinion. Had a great conversation. I keep freezing. Yeah, I think I'm okay. Just refresh your chat. It doesn't appear. Yeah, let me just refresh it here. Hey, Chris. Let me just see if that cleaned it up. It takes a minute or two. It looks like I'm going to have to buy a new router here, so I think that's cleaned up now. It's pretty good. I think I'm going to have to break down and get it. I don't know what's going on. I never had any issue here. Never. Oh, you like that hat? Thank you. What have you learned? What lessons have you learned so far from the van build?
Well, you know, first of all, what we're doing here is everything came together at the right place at the right time. Because number one, you need the tools, you need the skills, you need the time, and you need the place. And all those ingredients came together here at the Rancho to be able to do this. And it needed to be done if I was going to keep the van for a long-term period, or to have it where you're able to live in it comfortably. And I'm thankful for that. As far as people wanting to
I mean, what would you tell people at this point in the van? Be prepared for this when you do this.
Yeah.
You know, is there any lesson that you've learned at this point in time? My lesson is you better not be over your head when you start taking one of these Class Bs apart, you know?
Yeah.
because they're
Can you move that up just a little bit, Moses? Just a little bit, because the light is.
I don't want my tits to pop.
That's
out.
good. Yeah.
There you
Because
go.
it's just
Okay.
the light. Okay, that's better.
Right.
Thanks. I think that anybody
Yeah, Chris.
who's attempting to build out a van, you know, buying a Class B that's already made is much easier than trying to do it yourself, because you have to have, like I said, what I mentioned, tools, the skills, the time, and the place. And a lot of people just don't have that, and that's why they just go out and buy one that's already made. And but the one thing that I learned overall, most important that I've learned living this life, that whenever you get an RV and you get something that's built in, it's very expensive to maintain and replace things that are built in, compared to just having
Thank you, Nomadic Ninja.
everything portable. It's very expensive to maintain and repair and replace items that are built in. And for somebody that's getting into it, if you're not handy, if you don't have a skill set to fix things, be prepared to replace things that break down with portable things. Because if your propane system breaks down, or your propane tank, stove, you're going to have to go with portable. And because it's just expensive, they're expensive to maintain. As far as you go to an RV dealership, they charge $150
an hour.
105 to up to $150 an hour. You go to Onan, it's $150
Well,
an hour.
Camping World's going to ding you for
So,
$150 an hour.
The nice thing about the Class B is that you have a high top and you have a lot of nice cabinetry, and you have a lot of built-in systems. But when those systems fail, they're very expensive. It's like maintaining a boat. They're very expensive to maintain and repair and replace.
Hey, Jay.
And when things break down, you know, it's just like electric motors for windows. You know, they're a pain in the butt, really, to repair
But
and
they're
replace.
nice to have.
They're nice to have. I
Yeah.
wish I had. For me, I wish I had crank windows, because to me, I just don't want to deal with that. And that's the problem. When you have things that are electric, they're going to break down, and that's the problem.
I think the biggest lesson I learned, Marshall, is don't undertake a project like this unless you're really going to take it to the finish. Because
Right.
when you start pulling electrical out, you start ungrounding electrical systems. I would never recommend that the average person fiddle with electrical stuff in a coach.
Yeah,
You
that's serious.
you have tanks of gasoline, you have propane, you have water in that coach.
And electric.
All three of those things combined are truly a recipe for disaster. How you doing, Kevin Chambers?
Yep.
And I thought to myself as I was deconstructing, and we're struggling about whether we can drill in this area or not. I'm thinking about the average person
Right.
that might get a van and just start going to town and just start taking long screws and
Going right to the propane tank.
yeah, or
It's very
hitting a
dangerous.
gas. You know,
Getting a
when
gas
you're
tank.
when you're driving a drywall screw or a self-tapping sheet metal screw, wood to sheet metal. By the time that tip of that screw hits down below a gas tank, it's going to be 500, 800 degrees. And if that thing punctures and that's fumes in there, that's going to just hit those things and ignite it.
Yeah.
You know? And the thing I thought to myself is, my God, you got to be ultra careful here. This ain't like a Class
And that
C
almost
or-
happened when I looked at those screws of where you
Yeah.
put them in at all. And I seen my first camper
Hey,
van
Ginger.
catch on fire with the turn of an ignition key with the fuel pump out, and there was it burst in a. It was on fire in 1 second. So the gasoline system, I know.
Yeah, I mean,
I've
you've
seen
witnessed
firsthand.
you've witnessed your own RV going up in flames. That had to be
Exactly.
the most horrifying. all of a sudden your
And-
life just changed in an instant.
Yeah,
You know.
and so you have a fire hazard from the gasoline, you have a fire hazard from electrical, and you have a fire hazard from propane.
Yeah.
So even if you're working with a regular van, you still have fuel tanks. So
Yeah. So
Uh,
be careful.
yeah, people need
And
to.
also, it's not just the tanks; it's all the hoses running around. You can clip
Right.
a hose.
What is
with,
that?
with
There's
this
fuel
screw.
lines. There's electrical. So
Yeah, Sean, I think that seats need to be recovered. The question is, do you go to Mexico to have it done? Number one, they'd probably have it done in 2 days, and it would be done to a very high standard, or do you get it done up here? Well, it depends. While I'm
Yeah.
away and out of town, I'm hoping Marshall's going to do a little field exercises here and go around and see what's available in the area here in terms of upholstery shops, you know?
yeah, you might be able. How you doing, Patricia Wakefield?
Oh, man, that's a bad feeling, isn't it, Patricia? Woo.
What's she
Should be
say?
shocked. She got shocked putting a new light bulb in a lamp.
Yeah, you got to be
You know,
really careful.
You put remember your glasses? Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, guys. I was in Key West, and I was at one of the beaches. Maybe it was Smathers Beach or one of the beaches out there, and I was walking out of I was at where you rinse yourself off, the little rinse stations for the sand, and there was an electrical box that was mounted outside of the restroom, right by the where you take a shower. And I took my sunglasses off. I'm like, let me just put them up there while I
Good night,
rinse myself
Scott.
off. And I got electrocuted, and the glasses fell behind. It was really a strong volt, and so whenever, like I said, it's
There's an addendum to that too. People at
Yeah.
marinas, sometimes marinas where they dock boats, they'll run electric underneath of the docks. And sometimes there'll be an ungrounded situation and people jump in off the dock by the marina to swim and they get electrocuted down in there. Be very, very, very careful.
yeah.
ZR4, we're going to show you the gate. You're nothing more than a troll, so you're gone. Boom. Yeah, so to my mind, that's the thing to be careful with. And you have to be very careful, when you're undertaking that kind of work, that you're going to be able to accomplish that.
So
My world in OKC's, I was shocked once by a washing machine wouldn't let go of me, scared me. Well, that's how people die. When you get at 120, you can actually let go of it. But when you get up at 240 above, the thing that kills you is that electricity courses through your hands. It seizes your muscles up. And you know what? You can't let go of that wire. And you know what? You die. Okay? That's what the high voltage and the high amps does. Normally 120 you can get away from it, but you go up higher, you can't let go because your muscles seize.
that's what
And
I
you're
felt like
locked
somebody
on.
was sticking
That's
a
it.
knife in my
That's
arm.
called the death ride.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's the difference.
Whenever you see an electrical box, stay away from it. Any kind of electrical box, because and I think maybe the reason I got shocked was because my hand was wet with the water, and I put the sunglasses on there.
So now I'm happy that for the first time ever on a Coachman, the water system and the electrical system are now separated by about 6 feet, which is a really big difference.
Yeah.
So, because I'll have somebody tell me, "Oh, I can do 240, I can do 480 volts, 20 amps." I'm like, brother, when that current hits you, you will not let go. You will be unable to let go of that wire, and you will go down with the ship. Thank you, Kevin, and it's nice to see you, by the way. Yeah, so sometimes people will jump off of docks at marinas, and they get electrocuted because of ungrounded situations or open neutrals on the, they run this service for the high amp feeds for the boats under day.
So if I could order a van, Rosie, if I ordered a brand new camper van right now, and I knew I was on a limited budget, I would order one all done with the furniture and cabinetry and cushions, but I would have nothing in there. I would have nothing in there, no appliances in there that are RV related. It would just be an empty van with cabinets and a bed, and I'd have everything portable because it's so much easier to maintain and replace.
Yeah, how you doing line screw? You can do thousands of volts. You can do hundreds of thousands of volts for static electricity as long as the amps is low. The amps is what kills you, not the voltage, okay? Yeah, propane is very dangerous as well. Yes, that's exactly right. The other thing I learned is no matter how fast you think you can do a camper van build, and I've gotten some criticism that it's slow. You know, I could have built a bed in half the time, or no, you couldn't have. You know why? Because almost everything has to be custom cut for that bed in the back. You know,
Exactly.
so the other thing I learned from doing the van build at the 50% point is there's no such thing as evenness in a coach from one side to the other. This floor has ridges. It has places where ribs were cut out, and it's gonna take twice as long as you think it is to do,
Yeah.
especially the early days, to do the restoration on that. How you doing, Vanessa? That's the second thing I learned. It's going to take twice as long as you think to do a job like this, because everything has to be custom. There is no just knock and roll with, go to a chop saw and cut out 8 legs that are all the same size, bolt them on, carriage
No,
bolt
it
them,
doesn't
hex
work like
bolt. It
that.
doesn't work like
Also,
that. you know?
wall panels, shelves, cabinetry, it all has to be custom cut because there's
Yeah.
curves in the van. You have to find out where to mount it at. So that's why.
Yeah, that's the second lesson I've learned is time. You better be able to commit the time to it.
Right.
Okay. What other lessons you got to have the right tools.
You gotta have the
We're
tools.
constantly, it's all days. Just luckily I have most of the tools that we need to.
And you have to constantly have the hardware. You have to constantly be going back and forth to the hardware store.
Yeah.
To get things.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, you burn up a lot of time getting supplies, wood, things, looking at things. Hey, let's look at paneling. No, that sucks. Let's go look at it. You're going to burn a lot of time up. You're going to get to a situation like we have where I would like to change out every bit of paneling in the coach, but you're stuck with the fronts of the cabinetry. You know what I mean? And they're already, who knows if they can be sanded down and restained to a cherry and bring a whole cherry theme through the
Right.
cabinetry. Who knows? I don't know at this point. I got no idea at this point. I can't answer that question. But the expensive cabinets can be great, and people will say IKEA and all that, but at the end of the day, they're just composition board. At least the fronts of these cabinets are real wood in here. So it's another challenge to bring all these woods together. I will respectfully disagree with Marshall. Thinks his opinion that mixing wood is okay. You can take a golden oak, and you can mix it with a mahogany or a cherry or something. I just don't think that's acceptable. And you'll never see a Class B RV that has different kinds of woods. When do you think you'll finish the build? Probably January 1st. Okay, good luck to you, Lavender. I'll be rooting for you, honey. Yeah, so you have to go low and slow, and just you don't want to do damage to anything, and that's a big concern. And then you never know what you're going to be dealing with in the way of rust or screws and things like that. How come Marina Power not grounded salt waters? Well, that's what I'm saying, faces of the sun, because things rust. They don't have anodes and things to protect that out there. So who cut the ribs out? Coachman did when they fabricated the van. So you're going to be working around. Don't assume the ribs are in there.
Right.
You better be able to think in 3 dimensions to create attachment points. You also better be able to think inverse. Like a lot of these dinettes, they have the tabletop drops down like Whiskey OGs, and it sits in lips in front of the seat, right? It drops down to even. Well, you can't do that on this. You can't do that because why? The table would only be that narrow. So you got to figure out a way to put the lip on top of the seat, you know, so that you can. And we figured that out too.
Right.
Why would Opiyami be electrically charged? What can she do about it? I don't know. Um, you can usually discharge yourself to ground. You know, grab a pipe in your house that's going down to the under the sink or something, and you can discharge through the ground. So that's kind of weird.
I think, you know.
What else have we learned on this build so far, Marshall?
Well, I think what else I have learned is, you know, I've learned how these motorhomes are built, how things are attached, how things are fastened down. When you get behind the wall panels, when you get down to the floors, and you see, and you get a picture, you get an idea of your head of how they're manufactured. And then you say to yourself, well, maybe that's the way it should be. And some people will say, well, like the floor is screwed down. Some people will say, no, don't, like Mr. X, don't. It's supposed to be glued down. But I've seen the results of screwing it down and how you know secure it is. So
this is what I always say: your top surface can float, but your subfloor shouldn't. Okay, very critical.
right. So
Good night, Tammy.
I think that, you know, that it's been an interesting experience, and I think I look at it this way: what we're doing here, it's going to improve the rig. It's going to improve my life, and it's going to save me heartache and thousands of dollars that I would have to go and spend on another motorhome. And so that's a lesson that I've learned, and many people learn in life. Whether you have a motorhome or home, it's just cheaper to remodel it than to buy something else. So
That's the other lesson I've taken away. That's the other lesson I've learned on this build is, to this point in time, there's not been a lot of, believe it or not, there's not been a lot of money spent on this build. That's really surprised me when I got in here, that we've really not racked up that much of a bill. Because why? Because labor is the big component of these jobs.
labor.
And no rebuilding shop's going to be under $50 an hour for you know, continuous labor on something like this. And they're going to pay somebody $25, and they're going to take the other $25 and put it in their pocket. So the materials are cheap. The money is in the labor. Okay, that's a real big.
The money is in the labor, and then once the build is done, whatever a person wants to put in their van as far as accessories, appliances, you know, refrigerators, solar panels, batteries, mattresses. That's the money.
Chris says, when does he plan to do a tune-up on the engine? Has it ever had a tune-up?
I did a tune-up. When I bought the rig, I did a full.
All right, that was 30,000 miles ago, right? So
yeah, the tune-up is good for 100,000 miles. I did it at about 40,000 miles. Now it's got 80,000, so it was done 50,000 miles ago. I did the valve cover gaskets. I did the spark plugs and wires, and did many other things for the tune-up. So that's already been done. I do need to change the transmission oil and filter. And rear axle oil.
and throw in some Lucas transmission treatment in that.
So,
and also in your crankcase, that the restorative powers of that product. Any of you guys that have transmissions and for engines, the Lucas Oil products are amazing. So why was Marshall begging for 100? I don't know. I guess he wants to buy the new distributor panel on there. So.
yeah, I was trying to. There's a bunch of, like I said, I explained on my chat. Anybody who's watching. So before I bought it, I was going to try to discuss it with Rosie and see which one she liked.
Yeah.
To be able to do what we're going to do.
Okay.
But I think that you know, most people that are probably watching, if you're not big into RVs or vans, they probably don't even know what the distributor panel is. But I try to explain it on my channel what it was and what it does, you know.
Okay.
But
Chris says, what about the overheating issue? I would flush the coolant system and do a thermostat. Well, I can tell you one thing, Chris. If it was my van, I would take the thermostat, bing, and I would just boot it out of the system. Every car I ever had, I pulled the thermostat, except these modern ones. They're a pain in the butt. They always get frozen. They malfunction. Just you know, I'm not in a cold weather environment that I need to have a thermostat on that. So, but I think he proved going up over the Cahuta Pass 2 times, not once but twice, climbing that pass, which is a brutal climb. It's a sustained climb. That because the temperature was lowering as you were going up, you were actually maintaining coolness on the.
It actually got cooler with the temperature going down.
Yeah.
I also went over to Grapevine, and
okay. So what professionally done? How much do you think it would cost him? Well, not as much as you think. Number one, a professional is going to usually put a team of 1 or 2 people on that rig, and they may be actually able to accomplish in 2 weeks what's going to take us 2 months to do. Okay, so figure the labor for 2 weeks to do a van job. You know, they're going to sub the material out for cushions. They're going to so figure to put a price on that. So.
Van bills.
Oh yeah, you don't need a thermostat. If anything, Chris, the thermostat is impeding the flow of liquids through because it has a thermostatic, bimetallic closing mechanisms that as the temperature rises, the thermostat is supposed to go to a more open position. Okay, so once in a while they fail, they get frozen, they just go bad. Okay, and what they're doing is they're constantly impeding the flow of your liquid through your system. So I always give them the royal boot. Now you're in a cold climate, so the theory of the thermostat is it helps you come up to temperature quicker because it closes off the cooling system during the initial. On that, so I've always chucked the thermostats. They're a nightmare. I love Lucas. Go read the Lucas story or go watch a YouTube video and the interview of Lucas and find out how he battle-proofed how great his product was.
And one thing I wanted to say, Rosie,
when you said Via wants to buy, I mean, I don't care, Red Solo Cup, whether somebody donates the money or not, it's irrelevant to me. I mean, I'm appreciative when people make contributions to me, and you never know. I mean, on a converter box. I mean, that's on Marshall, whether he wants to ask for it, work for it, whatever. That's on him to do that. I only know that I don't want to, the old box is 30 years old. Let's not fool ourselves, okay? It's battle tested. I don't know when the transformer is going to fail and develop a little short inside the transformer windings that are going to cause that to short out. It just makes sense. They're not that expensive to get decent ones. It's not rocket science. He only has 4 taps on that for subsystems. A new one will give you 10 to 12 taps that you can pull off power for other things. Didn't ask him yet, Chris. Do you go to the gym? I do a lot of physical work. I am thinking about going back to the gym, but since I like to shower daily on the road when I'm gone, I will try to work in a regimen at Planet Fitness and places like that to really get into tip-top condition. Does he have enough money at this time to finish the band build? I don't know. I mean, cushions are going to be money, and I really don't talk finances. The only thing I tell Marshall is we're going to need this, this, and this. And that's pretty much the truth. This is what this is probably going to cost, and then you put it together. So I don't talk the money stuff.
One thing I wanted to add in is van builds cost there's companies that do van builds in Florida, and they one of them charges about, I think, $6,000 to $8,000 for a starter build, and they go on up. And a lot of other people who buy these vans and they want to put a top on their fiberglass top, high top, they can cost anywhere between four to upwards of $8,000, depending on what kind of top you get. So when you're getting a Class B, you're getting a vehicle, you're getting a lot for your money. You're getting a motor home with a high top, with all the systems, and so it all boils down to the condition, the body. So so it's a very they're very expensive. So whenever you can get a deal, you have to jump on it. Otherwise, it'll be gone the next day. They're very high. The most highly sought after motorhomes are Class Bs. So if you find something, you have to jump on it right away. Otherwise, it could be gone in a day or a week. So
my guess, Murphy's Law, was it would take $800 to $1,500 to finish it up at that point. Okay. At this point in time, that would be my educated guess about that. There's nothing fancy included in that, but that's the basic build. That's the basic build on there, in my opinion. Could be less, it could be more. I don't know. But I know that he'll get a lot of years of wear out of it. And I also know he'll have a strong incentive to keep that place pristine once the build is done. Yeah. I'd like to build for beauty too, Chris, to make it look, to take the details forward. He's enjoying a Modelo, and I hope you're doing good, Lion Screw. Nice to see you. When are we hitting the beach in Waikiki, baby?
how you doing, Lion Screw?
I don't know. East Coast down and out. We'll send you to the, there we go. Boom. Let me see. Any other questions on that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't like, I smoke. I'm not much on Modelo beer.
So, Rosie, what did you think?
I've enjoyed Tecate. Tastes like Modelo. It's all the same to me.
What did you think about Lion Screw's RV?
Loved it.
Really?
Loved it. Yep. Felt like it's very roomy inside, yet not such a big Class C that
Was
yeah. I thought it was perfect for him and Sammy. I thought that was a perfect rig to travel.
He has
I
a
really
dynamic-
like that.
he has a dynamic.
Yeah, Cabo would be great. I'm not sure. I mean, we're thinking about going down to Rosarito and Ensenada, someplace like that.
Cabo is
Yeah,
1,000.
there we go, Chris.
It's 1,000 miles from Tijuana to Cabo San Lucas. It's about 1,000-mile strip on the Baja. But yeah, I wondered what.
Well, I enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to having more time with Lion Screw, where we can have a couple days to hang out or something like that. It can be it can be in Palm Springs, it can be down there. It can be a lot of fun. I don't know what the gas mileage, if it bugged me when Marshall's I want to show the trolls that it can do 80 miles an hour. That really bothered me. Okay, because I saw him himself when he's doing it, it's 54 miles an hour, and he never cared about going faster or slower. But then, when he got into show-off mode, then it's 70, 75 miles an hour, okay? I don't think the mileage is that good. I think it's probably about 11, maybe 11 on the highway and whatever. It's a lot of weight. These things are almost 9,000 pounds. These rigs, they're not light. That would be fun, Lion Screw.
I think the hanging out with Lion Screw. I would want to hang out with Lion Screw when he's with his RV. I would love to.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm into RV, and that it would be fun to do a road trip with Lion Screw in his RV, and we could check out different places, and
I mean,
that would be
I
a
would
lot of
love
fun.
to meet up with him again. I have so much fun with. He's so engaging
Yeah,
and thoughtful that he's exactly the kind of guy I want to hang. He travels too. He puts it in gear. Hell, this guy even went to New Zealand.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
how many people were going down to New Zealand to bring content? That's like, really?
But
So-
sometimes you can save a lot of money. He's right, but if you fly and get a good deal on a hotel, because gas is so expensive. And Lion Screw knows him. He's got a Class C. His rig is much bigger than mine. So if you get a good deal on a hotel,
Yeah, flying is cool. It's a long haul from you. There's no doubt.
yeah,
You know, unfortunately, it's the rainy season coming up now. Or I would tell Marshall, hey, let's put it in gear for Vancouver. Let's go up to Washington State. But I cannot mentally tolerate, the cold and the rain and everything up there in fall and winter. We're going to show LZ. Yeah, made a whole video, but you're still living in the past, LZ, because they met in Las Vegas and had a great time. Boom. There you go.
yeah.
As Bergs would say, LZ, come up to present. Okay. There we go.
I mean, I kind of I agree with Lion Screw on. Sometimes it is much smarter to fly somewhere and get a good deal on a hotel if you're going a long distance and you know you're not going to be there a long time, because gas is so high, gasoline is so high, even for a Class B, even for a Class C. So if you can get a good deal on
I
a
just
hotel
can't
flight.
stand a rainy season. It's like, phew. It's the worst of the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Being around in rain. So whatever lessons have I learned on this Class B build? We've had the time. I've had the surprise of the cheapness to this point in time, apart from labor and things like that. I've also learned that you better have a high degree, like if you want to reconstruct a coach,
Right.
you better understand how you're going to attach. You can't just take drawings and say, "Oh, I'm going to put this here," and maybe you're not. Maybe you're not.
Exactly.
Right?
You got to know how you're going to attach
Yeah.
everything. That's
Yeah,
that's
you
the
get in
hard
there and you take the panels off,
and there's nothing there.
and there's nothing there.
Right.
And basically, you've got to build a super strong structure on that. What are you going to do?
Right.
You know.
Right.
That's the other thing I've learned. Hey, MB, how you doing? Yeah, flying's cheaper. Lion Screw, it would be. Yeah. It's not cheap to travel great distances, Murphy's Law. That's why you want to get to a place, and it's like Marshall says, you want to spend a month or two
Right.
there. Like if you're in Yuma, or actually if you're in San Diego or Imperial Beach, you have a short jaunt into Tijuana. It's easy.
It's easy. Yeah.
Or if you're in Yuma, you have a short jaunt into Los Algodones or something like
Right.
that. But man, if you're going to be on the road constantly, I've got the perfect travel fare. Even Marshall said I might get a minivan so that I can just go great miles without having to pour
lot of gas,
hundreds
yeah.
and hundreds of dollars. But if you're going to be at a place for a month like San Diego, man, you're living large when you got the Class
When
B.
you got the
There's
Class
nobody
B.
even bothering you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
I'm like, what?
I think a minivan would be cool for say a week trip, 1 week or
Yeah, it's
2 weeks.
expensive, Aussie.
But if you're gonna go for months on end, you want your motorhome with you. You know.
Yeah,
You
you're
want,
right, Murphy. Getting that other gas tank filled, what a supreme pain in the butt every 100 miles to have to stop and fuel up. I don't know how much gas I got. Is the gauge full or not? I don't know. Definitely have to get that vent thing fixed.
Yeah. That's a good bill.
It's mind-numbing to have to stop at a gas station that often. I mean, it turned what should have been a 6-hour trip up into like a 10-hour trip.
Yep.
Honestly, the most stress-free RV travel I've had is when I rent one like in New Zealand. That's pretty cool. It is, there's a lot of things that maintenance has not been done on Murphy's Law. And quite frankly, I'm not sure if I'm going to address things, there's cruise control and other things. And, I don't mind taking a whack at it, but I'm not going to spend a ton of time. I want to get on the road. And I figured to myself, if I don't have cruise control, I'm not going to have a lot of sympathy for somebody else. I've driven 30,000 miles in this van without cruise control, and it didn't bother me one friggin' bit not to have it, okay? But Marshall likes to just set the speed and forget it. 54 miles, and not 55, 54. So
That's one of the things that I really
I'll be
hate.
back in a minute. Take over, okay?
When my cruise control went out, I really missed the cruise control. That's one of the things that I need to get fixed. It's important to me, very important, to have that when you're making a long road trip. It is very annoying not to have it. And so that's one of the things, It's not important, right now, but, because I don't really make a lot of long trips. I usually go somewhere and I stay somewhere. So it is annoying. All my cars have cruise control and I almost never use it. I use it a lot on the highway. When you're driving 400 or 500 miles, you want to have the cruise control. And will save you a lot of gas too. When you use cruise control, it saves you a lot of gas because you're not manually hitting the pedal. I really miss the cruise control. But it's just part of having a vehicle, especially these older vehicles. Things break down like that. And that's one of the things I miss. And I'm going to get it fixed somehow, some way, somewhere. Somehow I'm going to get it fixed, It's little things like that, that annoy me, So, but line screw, like I said, the more simple you keep this life, the happier you are. And the more complex it is, the more stressful it is. So, if I could go back and do it all over again, I'd probably just have like a conversion van with a bed, and that's it. And a propane stove and a cooler with some ice, because it gets stressful. Things break down, and then it's a pain to get them fixed and repaired. So, let's see, what more? Marshall, I know the dinette you were building on Rosie's back patio. Is that though going on top of the existing wood, or is that a seat? Oh, no, that's the dinette. So that's going to go on top of the floor. The middle of it is going to be cut. There's still some existing wood because it used to support a jackknife sofa. So the middle of it is going to be cut so you can get in and out of the dinette. And that's going to be fastened to the floor, and it's going to be fastened to a couple of 2x4s that are going along the side of the van. And that's where we're going to mount the table in between those, in between the dinette. And then there will be a backing made for it, for the cushions, backings for the cushions for the back that you sit on, and also there'll be some plywood that's made on the top of it, so you can sit on the top of it and then remove it for access. So
now I'm curious about this. I came back and I saw Red Pill said you need a new motor, and I'm interested why you would think that it needs a new why you would think it would need a new motor at 83,000 miles. When I got my 88 Coachman, it had well over 100,000 miles on the rig. You know, it's got the 351. It's got the 5.8 liter engine, which you know, the Windsor is one of the greatest high production.
I don't have any ticking in the engine. The only oil leak
you don't need. You just you know.
The only oil leak that I have is from the rear main oil seal between the engine and transmission. The vehicle does not smoke. It handles going up mountains that are up to almost 5,000–6,000 feet. If it needed a motor, it wouldn't have the compression to go up over the Grapevine, to go
It's
up
fuel
over
injected.
to go up over 4,400 feet in Campbell, California.
Well, the
When
rear,
you have a vehicle that has valve issues, compression issues, it's not going to make it.
yeah, the rear seal is.
So there is no
Thank you, JP.
there is no compression issue or piston problem.
Yeah,
or
it's like
anything
saying
that.
your everyday driver. I mean, how many people are going to change out their motor at 80,000 miles to be more reliable? You know. Yeah, you have to understand that it's a heavier push than a regular car, but the engine is properly fitted for it. So I'm not sure cheap one's extra sweet. Yeah, my 88 was carbureted, so this is an 89. They changed over to fuel injection. My 2008 340 noisy ticking engine, but doesn't leak or burn off and run strong. Yeah. Ellis, why don't you start selling vans and motor? You could make a lot of money. He could make a lot of money selling Class Bs because he could legitimately tell somebody, I've lived the life for 4 years full time in a Class B, and I know what systems and what layout works and what you're going to be happy with and what you're not. Yeah, the crate, yeah, it's about 2K. Yeah. I'm not sure if he started it recently or that. So Dad will send you to a timeout. So anyway, I don't think the engine or transmission has any big issue.
To say the same engine here, the 351 Windsor, is similar to the 351 Cleveland that was used in school buses, from what I've heard. And then you have the 460 V8, which is a little bit bigger than this one, and it's used on Class A's. The 460, which is a little bit bigger than the 351.
Yeah. So I think it's negative wishful thinking on the part of people to think about the engine and the drivetrain. Yeah, got to keep the battery charged up. No, there's you know, I'm going to tell you, line screw, those showers that they put in were total junk in these rigs. The fiberglass was had fins on the bottom, and it was just junk, you know.
Yeah, the other issue with the shower in the back of the Coachman,
Size.
it's only about 6 feet or 6'1" in the back where the shower's at. So it's very claustrophobic feeling, even if you had a big shower back there, because the height of the van there is much lower, because the top is lower at that point on the Coachmans. So
I mean, they're not made for big people, you know. They're just they're not designed for that. I pulled mine out and built an extra cabinet in the back.
I just hope that people watch these videos, and then maybe it gives them an idea of what to do. I don't think that most people will take a Class B and do what I did to it. But in my case, I've lived in it for over 4 years, and I had a lot of problems. And it was the most realistic and economical thing for me to do. But I don't think that the average person, but people who are doing van builds will watch what we did and they'll get ideas of what they should do to a van that comes in empty, like a cargo van, conversion van, and they'll get ideas to it. And you know, so I hope that Rosie puts everything on her Rosie Murphy channel, because I think a lot of people will watch the videos over time and benefit from it, you know. And I just don't think that, like I said, that we've really got our feet wet in the RV community yet. Maybe one day we will, and then I can tell people, maybe Rosie can tell people, why we built it the way we built it, and how we built it the way we built it. And that's the fun part for me.
Yeah, the Mexico trip was outstanding, JP.
So
It was great. My RV just hit 100,000 miles. No worries on the engine. 5.4 liter. Yeah.
the 5.4 liter Triton, that's the one that Desert Donnie had in his Phoenix 98 Phoenix Cruiser, and I drove that thing, and man, that thing, it feels like you're driving a Mustang. That
Yeah.
thing
What's
flies.
the weight of your RV line screw? Do you know what the total weight is?
That's a V10. That's a very good engine.
I'm just curious what his weight on that vehicle is.
Well, if mine's is 9,000, his has to be at least 12, 13,000, I'm thinking.
Okay, take care, Chris. Good to see you. I'm not sure. I mean, it
They're-
wasn't
they're
that
heavy.
big. It wasn't a really extended C, so it was like good size. 5,500 kilograms.
How much is that in
Well,
pounds?
there's that light. It seems like it would be heavier than that. I think it's 2.6 pounds to the kilogram.
How much is that in pounds?
Yeah, the pork chops were good.
12,000?
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay.
right. It's 2.6 times. Yeah, 12,000 pounds. So you're 80.
That sounds about right. I'm about 8,800.
8,900, yeah.
8,900, yeah.
Yeah, urban van dwellers will get great ideas from Rosie's build. Most use the Planet Fitness showers, like you say, and this will give them more open space. Thank you, Katie. I'm sure, knock on wood, we didn't, haven't made a bad turn yet on doing anything. Now, if you're looking at I heard some people talking about the dinette. I only have the side where the seats are going to be internal to the coach, where your feet go under. That will be cut open, that area. I'm only using temporary stringers on there, long pieces of wood to just keep it stable so it doesn't,
Flex, yeah.
flex. So we did the same thing on the bed to try to get it originally in. Hey, Nico. So I'm only using that. I'm just building around that, and at the end I'll cut that out, and that'll be the
Yeah.
finished.
I think a lot of people are confused because she hasn't cut that part out yet.
right.
And they're confused. They're like
Yeah,
Patricia
you're not going to
did.
step over that. Thank you, Sandy. That's
Right.
meant to be cut out at the end. The very last
Right.
thing is to cut that out. But there's that's going to be removed from the coach again because the electric has to be done. Thank you, Line Screws. Looking forward to seeing how they dine that. I think we came up with a novel way to reverse the lip and put the lip on top instead of on the bottom, so we can get a bigger table.
Yeah, I think that the bed that Rosie made, a lot of people have made different kinds of beds. I'm not sure if I've seen one that has the plywood fitting in the inserts, but I think the dinette
Thank you, Scotty.
is going to be the thing that people. What we're doing with the dinette, nobody's ever done before. I've never seen it, and I think a lot of people will be surprised.
Lori's, hey Lori, how you doing? She says, are there any roads you can't drive on in a Class B?
Well,
Remember, they're not lifted, so.
a lot of people want to get 4x4 and stuff of that nature on their RVs. I don't see how that wouldn't tear up the motorhome. But it depends. The Sportsmobile puts 4x4 on their rigs. But all the rattling and all that, I don't know how. I'm not very familiar with 4x4 systems, but a lot of people are doing that.
Oh, thank you, Dab F.
And,
I want to tell you this, Lori, though. If I was going to drive any RV over a potentially rough surface, the one I would take would be a Class B. Okay. Reason being is the integrity of the coach itself. I remember when Chris Travels bought his Monaco coach. And by the time he got up to Alaska, the thing was shaking apart. It was coming apart at the seams.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
and he's like, man, I paid all this money for this coach.
Right.
And you could hear the thing was just rattling up the Alcan. It was just rattling up the road. And I thought, you'd never have that in a Class B. You'd never have that. Yeah, you might blow a tire,
right,
or you might bottom out, or maybe your drive shaft or something like that.
Right.
But you're not going to have your coach fly apart on you. So, yeah, you have to kind of, thank you, Katie. You explain things. You explain things as you go on things. And for every problem, there's a solution on that. Good morning, Harvey. And I think
one thing I just, I met this guy in Chicago that had a road trick that's on my channel. But anyways, he said one thing to me and made a lot of sense. He says everything in a Class B or everything in a motorhome has to be fastened down. What I mean fastened down, it means it's got to be screwed down, glued down. It can't just be free willy-nilly like you have it in your house. You can't take a couch like this and just put it in a motorhome without it being secure. Because when you get on the road, it's going to fly all over the place. And that's what people don't understand when they're doing these van builds. Something as simple as a cabinet. My coach house didn't have a good system for holding the cabinet doors in, and they would come flying open.
Right.
When I'm on the road.
That's a problem I had with the GMC.
Really? Yeah.
You know?
So that's what it is with these things. First of all, you have to, it's interesting how they're made. It's interesting how they're made, how everything is fastened, tightened, secured down. And that's the most important thing when you have a motorhome. You don't want your cabinets flying out, stuff flying out of your shelves. Stuff shifting around.
Glass is breaking and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So
that's exactly right. So
that's now that I've seen the way that they're made. I want to see. I like to see how solid they are, and that's why when I walked into an Airstream, I couldn't believe how solid it was compared to the Coachman. It's worth.
Of course, you're paying a ton of money for an Airstream.
You can get lucky and find them for a good deal, but they are very highly sought after.
Man, anytime
right.
you mention
Airstream,
man, the price is just on that. So
I know Rosie likes the Rialta, but they're built.
How do you feel about an Astro van? If he was going to have a backup for long haul, it would probably be an Astro or a Safari or something like that. We've talked about that.
Like for example, if I were to ball up my fist and punch the fiberglass on a Rialta, I'd probably dent it. If you're trying to do that on the Chinook, you'll probably break your knuckles.
Well,
they're not all built the same way.
I don't want to say it's a woman's rig, but I think it really appeals to me. It has kind of feminine lines on it.
Yeah. It's
it's super styled. I would love to have a Eurovan. I would love to have it.
It's a very cheaply made RV. It's very cheaply made. It is unique. It is a one-of-a-kind vehicle. There's nothing else.
I would feel like I'm just driving a car, when I'm driving that. I feel fearless. like when I'm driving to Coachman, I feel like I'm driving still a pretty big rig.
Right.
And I never really felt comfortable driving an RV. I don't know why. I just never felt it. So
You know, the first time I saw a Rialta, Rosie,
mhm.
my property in Arkansas, we had a taxidermist. I guess those guys that stuffed animals.
Right.
And there was a Rialta across the street. And my Uncle Simon, he likes motorhomes. He's like, man, I want to buy that thing.
Right.
And I went there, and this is the first time I saw Rialta, and you know, I was looking at it, and I said to myself, I've never seen something like this. This is really cool. There's nothing on the market quite like the Rialta. There's nothing that is comparable to it as far as the style. There really isn't. It's just in a class all by its own.
It's a class by itself.
By
like
its
I
own.
said, it's a more feminine
It's
looking.
exactly.
Don't you think so? The styling and
It's European.
You know,
It's European.
yeah. I think that's what appeals to me about it is that
the European
styling.
I could envision Rosie. I think if Rosie bought a Rialta, I could just envision a Rialta part right here by the Rancho.
Right.
And Rosie being, it is a feminine looking RV, okay? Yeah. It's not macho looking like a coach. And Rosie being transgender, it would kind of match, the Rialta would match her.
Yeah.
It's a feminine looking rig. And I think if she bought one, I don't think that she would sell it. I really don't think.
I don't think I would sell it.
I think
the next RV I buy is going to be the last RV I buy. I'm telling you.
That's
and it's definitely going to be a Class B. It's not going to be anything except a B.
Right.
And if it's a wide body, so much the better. Okay.
I think that
they just seem light. They seem airy inside.
Yeah.
They just seem very appealing to me. Those. So I really like them. Anyway, guys, it's 11:30 locally here. I know it's 2:30 on the East Coast, so I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. I think it was an interesting conversation. We had a few laughs tonight, but I did want people to go back and maybe watch these streams about things that I've learned, and I'll put up a separate, shorter video about things that I've learned at the halfway port. Maybe people can benefit from that in the future. I'll probably be down there for as long as possibly a week, Patricia. I'm not sure. So we will see. Cheers. So I want to thank you guys for being on tonight. And yeah, see you tomorrow. Patty, make sure you watch tomorrow's Chooch. Good night, Scottish. Thank you, sweetheart, for doing a great job. So any final words, Marshall, tonight? Good night, Sandy. Night, Harvey.
Yeah, it's nice to see some good people in here for a change. Patricia.
Good night, Survivor.
Sandy.
Well, it's not for a change. My chats are usually pretty good.
They've been pretty good. They've been pretty good. They've been pretty good overall, you know. And it's just nice to see.
Good night, Lisa. I'll call you tomorrow, honey.
It's just nice to see some good people pop in, you know.
Yeah, thank you. Poor Flower Power wasted all that time to hang out,
we're
only
on
to
a
have
Pacific.
only to have her message never see the light of day on here. Yeah, so I guess he'll never learn.
I don't know. Lavender Flower says she's
night,
having does she say she's having a scan or something?
Yeah, Lavender Flower. Yeah. Good luck to you, Lavender.
Good
Keep
luck
us
to you,
posted
Lavender, on that. I just wanted to say that. I heard her say something about that. And yeah, just like I said, just nice to have some
I think as we
people
continue going on and, you know, hangouts and things, that there will be a point where we will attempt to transition over to an RV once in a while, once a week. Your dream was always to have an RV kind of hangout,
right?
To talk RVing and just try to you know, just try to put it back in and just kind of try to restart that again. So
because I like to stay focused. That's what we all started off with. Jory started off with RV Hangouts. That's what I got on Hangouts. So
right.
And it's fun to Lion Screw's an RVer, so he's got a lot to share. And
Good night, Random Trucker. Good night, Jay Holly. Yeah, I look forward to Line Screw can talk a blue streak about RVing and stuff and all that. All right, everybody. Thanks so much and have a wonderful one.